But knowing that division weakens a country, weakens a society and a people, and I feel like that's pretty well known. Do you think that the people at the top are just bought and paid for, and then that's why they're perpetuating these narratives? Or do you think that they're ignorant to it? Because as much as like it's not someone that's like, ha ha ha, how can I do this? Kind of a little bit. Like someone is.
Certain folks, yeah. I mean, like the Soros people, for
right?
sure, yeah.
Yeah,
or
that's calculated.
Klaus Schwab. I feel like people like that. But you know, it's the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? So I think I try to put myself in people's shoes, like Bill Gates, for example. He's like, okay, there's probably a famine that's going to come at some point, and he's probably right about that for whatever reason. A solar storm knocks out our power supply, and we can't operate. So, do you know how modern crops are planted?
No.
8 months prior, this machine that uses GPS will go put fertilizer in the ground. Boom, boom, boom. And then 8 months later, that same machine comes by and puts the plant right on top of the fertilizer. You can't do that with a human being, unfortunately, right? I mean, you can, but it's way harder, right? So if the power goes out, then we're going to have some fucking problems, right? So a guy like Bill Gates is like, well, I have the resources to try to help insulate our farming system from natural disasters. And he thinks that way, right? But that always invariably leads to some kind of fucked up crazy bullshit, like how he released 400,000 mosquitoes in Louisiana or whatever the fuck. It's like, oh no, they're inert. We got rid of the ones that carry the whatever that disease is, malaria. It's like, did you, or did you mutate in an animal like outside of the norm of nature, and now we're going to see what fucking happens, you know?
Right, because wasn't he inoculating the mosquitoes in Africa? And why are you? I don't know. Everyone has different responses to everything.
Yeah,
you can't just do that. What they were, I saw. I don't know if there's like a lot of truth to this, but they were suggesting putting Lexapro in the water, like the public water. And so you can't do stuff like that. Like we have such biodiversity between each person that what works for someone else could be deadly to someone right next to them. So how do you say we're going to put this vaccine in a mosquito and that's going to be safe for everyone, or we're going to drug your water and that's going to be safe for everyone?
Well, we fuck it up enough on accident. We can't afford to fuck it up on purpose. You know, like microplastics, for example, or hormones in food. We have completely destroyed testosterone.
Yeah.
Like if you're a dude over 28, you probably need to be supplementing testosterone. It would be shocking if you didn't, because the average 21-year-old in America now has the same testosterone that an 80-year-old had in 2001.
Yeah, have you seen those pictures? They'll take guys from the 50s and they'll be like, these were 18-year-olds and they look like grown men. And you're like, what happened? But like men and boys don't look like that anymore. Yeah,
and we're not living longer as a result either. I think actually the median age for men in the U.S., the data from last year just came in and it's down to 73 from 76.
Whoa.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of that's probably due to 60-year-olds dying from COVID and shit over the past couple of years. But it's not great. I mean, it's not, you certainly can't say that whatever we're doing to stay young is working, right? And we're not healthy anymore. Our bone density is down. So the Marine Corps, I talked to some people in the brass in the Marine Corps, they're having to give kids like B shots and calcium shots when they come into basic training now.
Whoa.
Because their bone density is down.
And that's just from not lifting and
just
moving.
Not being active, yeah.
Yeah.
Like your bone density grows precipitously between like ages 3 and 15, give or take. That's the time that's really important to be active. Not necessarily lifting heavy weights and stuff, but moving around, certainly, not playing video games all the time. I love playing video games. They're fun. I like to get high and play video games. But I grew up being forced to go outside. And the video game was a reward after, you know. So, you know, like, I've had a lot of these conversations about how to live yourself and then parent and lead in modernity. It's like, you don't have to be a Luddite. You don't have to become an Amish person and move to the farm somewhere or whatever people say now. But you should have a healthy relationship with your environment, whether it's TV screens or the woods or whatever, right? You got to figure out some kind of balance there, and you're going to get into it soon, right? I mean, at some point, no matter how much you parent, your kids are going to start wanting to do their own shit, and you're going to deal with a couple of assholes. You know what I mean?
For sure, at some point. Yeah. I think everything's a balance, right? So
Mm.
you don't want to overindulge in any one thing. And I think that that's a good point is you do have, again, this kind of overcorrection where people are saying, just go start a farm, right? Because that's so easy. Just go buy a whole bunch of land, start a farm, leave society, never look at technology again, instead of embracing technology as something that's inevitable. I want my kid to be able to keep up with everyone else, but at the same time, I don't want that to consume him. So you do see that a lot of these gamers that don't leave, like they look frail, right? Like that's all they do is they game all day. So yeah, you can learn how to game. I think that there's a lot of benefit from that and like problem solving, creative thinking, all of that, but also go outside and ground, right? Like take your shoes off, go run through the woods, go get dirty. All of these things are important. Have sunlight touch your skin. And it's these age-old medicines that we have kind of taken for granted and thought were just like woo-woo and didn't mean anything. But now we're learning through work through Andrew Huberman and people like Gary Brecka, I think is his last name. You can spend $120,000 on a red light bed, or you can just go outside in the morning, and that's free, right? They've been doing that since the dawn of time. So it's a balance between all of the things and not to just overly indulge in any one thing.